Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome back to Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. And I do sincerely apologize for the late start. Adobe, the Creative Cloud, had an update, and a bunch of my different apps and programs got updated. I had to wait for those to finish downloading because I want you guys to have, some good content. I want you guys to have good, up to date programs so then you're not waiting on something or something doesn't mess up midstream. I got to keep this nice, good, and fresh for y'all. Anyway, how has everyone been? I've been good. Haven't really been working on these assets. I've more so been working on some pieces of art and a future video, like off stream since my last stream, which I'm gonna be honest, I probably should be zeroing in on this I really should just be zeroing in on this and focus on this rather than just giving my time to something else. Okay, so I'm just gonna start with working on this building right now. I actually I feel like I'm in a bit of a catch 22 because now that I've drawn the tongue twister. Now that I've drawn all these other things, I'm actually kind of not sure where this is gonna go. If it's gonna go in the foreground or the background. But sometimes I like to actually zoom out and look at the entire piece in perspective. And what I do think is going to happen is this can definitely go in the background. I think what I'll do is sort of have it as one of the sort of moving pieces or the pieces that come into view once the camera angle shifts and tilts because there is actually a shifting that occurs in my animation. If you guys have seen some of my previous old streams, is when I was working on this particular segment where Ao's hand is sort of like gliding across the rail, it sort of pauses, stops, and then his whole body comes into view. And so that's going to require me to sort of shift and move some of these buildings and these other assets that I've been working on and creating. So it's really going to be good. And actually, one of the things that I learned is that it's better to have too many assets than not enough because your end goal when you're creating it clear my throat because your end goal when you're creating a background is you need to give a sense of depth and realism to that background. You can't just go about it any kind of way. So there are little things you can do and little things you can add or add in that will help you in that endeavor. So, like having more than enough assets, or using different color filters, or using different opacity layers to sort of give a sense of depth to the piece. Many different things that can be done. And so that's what I'm doing right now is even if I don't use this particular building, this sort of grayish green building that I've been coloring, I still have something that I can do that can be done for this in particular. And besides, even if I don't use this asset, it is still going to help me and it'll help me, hone my craft and grow and get used to my art and get used to my drawing and designs. Because right now, these buildings merely serve a purpose. I'm not trying to draw like an entire cityscape. What I'm trying to do is just have some assets that can be played in the background. Like, and that's also another thing is while it is good to have detail, you also need to take into account sort of the context for that detail and the context for what you're doing. Because if your main thing is making an animation, you may not want to put too much heavy detail or heavy effort into the backgrounds. You obviously want backgrounds, especially for a production like this where you need backgrounds and you need different assets and elements that are going to be moving and in the frame and XYZ. But what I mean by that is you don't need a highly geometrical building somewhere in your background. Unless that building is going to be the focus, you can bear to have at least reduced detail in some places just to save time. For instance, what I'm doing, I'm creating a sort of backdrop. I'm making sort of a backdrop cityscape. So detail really isn't necessary for me because the focus is going to be in the foreground. And not only that, but I'm going to be adding different effects that are going to cause the buildings to blur or not appear as clear. And then add some filters or add some intermediary like planes on top of certain layer collections in order to give the sense of depth and realism to this because you're not gonna because if you actually like go to a city like early in the morning, like some of the buildings are gonna be blurry to you. You're not gonna be able to see everything in detail. So that's really my goal and sort of my aim. I'm already 10 minutes in. You see, that's how I buffer for content. That is building 4. Okay. I actually do think that now I'm just gonna put this in the back behind some stuff because it. Did I forget to add the line art? I forgot to add the line art to. Wait, now what line art did I add? Okay, so let me just. Yeah, okay, I had just grouped the color. I forgot to group the line art on top. Make sure you watch your layers so that you don't accidentally forget something. I don't know what I'm talking. I don't even know what I'm saying. Um, that's building 4. So I'm just putting the base colors on there because actual detail isn't really necessary, at least not right now. I'm gonna work on this floating island right now. Now let's see. I do want to give it like this purplish orange color. Like those two are practically on the opposite sides of the freaking color spectrum. But I am gonna try to like sort of blend them in some way. Ooh, that's a nice color I'm going for. Uh, can I add more red to it? Yeah. Yeah, that's a perfect color, but I wonder if it's too. Hmm. Yeah, this is actually a perfect color. I think I'm gonna add this as a swatch and just have it be like the common earth color because it definitely does give the sense and feel of like gravity and what really goes into like creating floating islands and stuff like that. When it comes to the actual promotional art, I think I'll definitely add some like maybe some greens and some regular like dark reds or like reddish browns to this. But for the sake of, finishing up these assets, this basic color is going to be pretty good enough for now. As I continue to work on this, I just go back into my writer mode and I'm like what kind of world would this be like? Like if this world if our world had magic and we had these floating buildings and floating islands, how would we get across? How would we live? And that's why I sort of created, teleportation circles and different floating airships, cars that can float. I would definitely say that because this is magic comes in at, I want to say, around the year 2000, and then after the Cascade, when people were living in bunkers, there were still certain mechanical mechanical and scientific booms and discoveries during that time that were even backed by magic. The only limitation was people's environment and their ability to freely invent those things. They were definitely working on like the software, like writing code or like drawing up plans once magic was discovered, but before then they couldn't really build things because they were in conservation mode. They needed to ensure that they were surviving at least until they got the okay that they could leave the bunkers. So I definitely think that more internal advancements like using spells and magic and different things like that was a factor. But when it comes to mechanical creations like creating factories or different machines and vehicles that derive power from magic, that had to be put on hold. So you're actually going to see that. I would definitely say that while this world has things like airships and flying cars, they're definitely going to be a bit rougher in their design. And it's just going to be, and like this is going to be the era and time in which things are going to be shifting more to aesthetic. Which is kind of exciting. And I'm sort of happy to see where this all goes. I may have to shrink. Ooh, excuse me, I need to clear my throat. I may have to shrink this in size at least a little bit. Let's see here. I was trying to avoid shading, but I think I might actually have to, at least for these different floating island segments, because of the nature of them, where they float and they are like bird's eye view, or like you are seeing them from a bottom up perspective. So there's definitely going to be some shading there. I was trying to avoid it, but no, I think this is going to be inevitable. I should figure out a way to like add my, I don't know, chat or something to recording. I'll probably look up a guide or something. I'm also gonna need to work on like maybe like an art piece. I probably won't be able to have my screen as big as this is, but like I'll sort of add a little side screen where I have my chat pulled up, and you guys can look at yourselves talk, what have you. I don't know. There's still, for as long as I've been doing this, there's still some stuff that I'm learning to do, learning not to do. So this has been kind of fun. Okay. Let me zoom in and see this more properly. Okay. So that's one building down. Let's see here. And do you think I'm gonna add some like light bluish or some pale? Just because there's been a lot of reds and I don't want to. So in art, there do exist things such as color themes where, certain segments and areas are key to a specific color. The one issue with color themes is there is a precarious tightrope where it can go from a theme to something that is reoccurring and overpowering. And so that's what I'm trying to avoid, at least with this piece right here, because I'm using a lot of reds and a lot of warm skewed colors. What I want to avoid is something that is going to overpower my audience and the people who are watching this for the future. But at the same time, I don't want to use blue because a lot of the foreground elements are this orangish color. Blue could clash in a negative way. Okay. Yeah, I think this palish brown is definitely a better color because I do have to remember that, like, in this palish brown, there is going to be some purples in there, and that could be the sort of main draw of this certain piece. But at the same time, I guess when I use, hold on, let me actually try something. Okay, let's see here. Okay, now I'm going to add some color for the windows. So, how's everyone's day going? I've just been chilling, one of my off days. So, I've just been taking it slow. I've been working on a few other pieces of art and a few other animations. I'm trying to work more on my transformation animations, like regular characters turning into monsters and stuff like that. I've also been working on my visual effects, and I've been trying to animate like some magic scenes and stuff like that, like really put detail and color into it. So I have a few things planned for that. I've also been working on business cards too. ECGC is in the next, what, 2, 3 weeks? So I've really been finalizing some designs for that. I've also been working on a new art piece, which is this nice angel with like three pairs of wings, and it's beautiful. It looks beautiful. I can't wait to share that. But I've really just been trying to stay busy and stay optimistic because these different projects that I give myself and these different works that I've done and created are really what's pushing me and keeping me going despite my failures and misgivings. Despite applying for job after job and not getting anything, or like just outright getting rejected or ghosted, it's nice to have these projects, and it's also nice for me to have this channel because it feels like I didn't go to college for nothing. If that makes true sense, is it feels like, I don't know, there's still purpose, or there's still something for me to do, which sounds crazy. I know, like there's a bunch of things I could be doing, but it's like I've already put so many things into motion. I have a Fiverr account. I'm open to freelance work. I'm drawing regularly. I keep animating regularly. I have a bunch of projects that I'm working on, but very little is coming from it. I mean, the only thing I can really do is just push forward and not give up. Eventually, something will come. But I just don't like this rough period. use my eraser tool and to clean some of this up. So this is just something I do where it would take me too much time to just carefully make sure I'm drawing in the lines. So what I do and what quite a few artists do is that we just quickly draw and color, and then we'll go back later and use the eraser tool to sort of erase and clean up what we've been drawing and working on, which is quite nice and it looks pretty good. I mean, at least it looks good to me. I'm pretty sure you guys have like some advice for me. You're saying don't do that or make sure you draw it carefully. It's all good. I'm just enjoying myself. Enjoying a nice and calm stream and just taking my time. That's really all you can do. Especially in this world, some people just move so fast. I swear when I'm working in retail, it feels like time just passes by or like I just blank out and it's I want for my shift to be over. But moments like these where I just take the time and calm down, like it really feels like time has slowed for me. That I could just do this forever. And I mean it. I honestly genuinely mean it when I say that I could draw forever. I could animate for hours on end and work on these long projects. I just love drawing. I love art, and this is something that I really love and enjoy. Like, this teaser trailer has been a year in the making. Like, I spent a year working on this. I've done everything on my own, trying to complete this, trying to do this. And when I go and I re-look at like different scenes I've done, like you can definitely tell a jump in quality. Like that may be a bad thing, or it could be a good thing. Seeing the jump in quality and seeing me get better, that could be a good thing. But there definitely is sort of a juxtaposition, or at the very least, a difference between the first frame I drew, and I mean, not the first frame, the first scene I drew and did, and then the last scene I worked on. Like the jump in quality is there. Like it is getting better. But if I redo it, if I try to like redo it or redraw it, then this teaser trailer is never gonna get done. Sometimes when you're working on big projects, you sort of just have to cut your losses and post what you have. That sounds really bad. When you have a team of people, you can redraw stuff and you can rework on stuff. But if you're just doing something on your own and you have deadlines or you're trying to get something done within a certain amount of time, you sort of have to just post it and then it'll get the traction and it'll get the love that it gets, and then afterwards you can make your next project better, or hopefully you'll get hired by some team or whatever, and then you'll have two or three other people that can clean up for you or that can rework on things with you, and you can make better stuff. This sounds horrible. This sounds like terrible, but this is just the truth. Like I am telling you guys the truth, where you just have to cut your. It sounds bad, but me saying this does not mean I don't love my craft or I don't love my art. There's just a reality to circumstances in which sometimes you just have to post what you post, because if you hold on to it forever and keep refining it, you'll never grow. You'll never grow. You'll never develop. Nobody will ever see how passionate you ever truly were if you're just holding on to projects. Because that is something that I struggled with in high school. And I'm being honest when I say this. I could have had a YouTube channel in high school. I could have been, what, 15, 16 years old and working on little animations or working on different things like that. But I was so self conscious and I was so afraid that I held onto my projects and I just didn't post anything. I didn't have Instagram, I didn't have Twitter. I was solely on YouTube watching other videos and like doing stuff like that, but I was never making videos myself. And like it's an old video right now. Like my regrets, like I regret not having a channel. That's an old video on my channel. I think that was one of the first or second like tips and tricks videos I made, or it wasn't even a tip and trick video. It was just me talking into a mic and saying how much I regret XYZ. But I've long since gotten over that. But I go back to my point and say that you have to start somewhere and you have to do something. Because honestly, if this teaser trailer does look bad, then okay, let me just post this, but the pilot is going to be better. Or at some point later in life, I can rework and redraw this. Like, there are always going to be options, and there are always going to be things that can be done that I can do for the future. We all just have different stepping stones that we have to go through today in the present. More on the topic of the city, because this has just been my favorite part, but I do like the fact and I do sort of appreciate the fact that of all cities and locations, New York was the one I chose because in our real world, New York already does have sort of a precedent and a history of being a rather diverse city. Like you have people like this is stuff I learned back in middle school and high school of like world history and how many people came to New York for the culture and for the opportunities, people working in the industrial areas, like people enjoying the nightlife, like the roaring 20s was a huge thing. And so one of the inspirations, or at least one of the reasons why I chose New York to take into this scientific, fantastical future is because of its already pre-existing history. And I just felt and it felt to me that through bringing it and putting it into this lens of science fantasy, I could enhance what was already there and sort of show the evolution and the potential of humanity. because that is a big theme of this world and of this project is human potential, like hope, future, light, life, positive aspects. Okay, this building is complete. Which one is this? I think this is building 5. Building cluster A. Okay, so let us see real quick. And yes, so the big major buildings with the most detail, those are complete, those are done. Okay, let me actually see what other things that need to be drawn and done because I do have a few sparse buildings here and there. Okay. I'm working on some of these clusters of buildings. They're definitely going to be smaller aspects, not really sort of given focus or shown a light on. They're more so there to help build a bit of an ambiance, or ambiance, that's a bad word. They're supposed to help build depth and give a sense of an actual city. Because when you actually go to a city, you don't see all of them in full detail. You usually just see like a basic outline or you'll just see like the windows of the building. Those are for like buildings that are like way back in the background. So I do want to find a good stopping point because after this stream, ooh, I have a lot to do today, and I really should have been doing that yesterday instead of playing video games. I mean, like, playing video games isn't bad. Like, we all gotta have our hobbies. But I will say that mm, since I started YouTube, I haven't stopped playing video games and I haven't stopped watching TV, but rather I'm more excited and I'm more happy when I'm streaming or when I'm making videos doing things that I love. I could start a gaming channel, like probably Owoh's Gaming Corner or Owoh at Night. Ooh, that's a nice name. Owoh, it's gaming. You see, I got a cool ass name. I can do clever wordplay with my name. I don't even know what I'm talking about now. Oh yeah, let me tell you guys, this was like when I was in high school or whatever. The slogan for Owo's Corner used to be "I'll make you go, oh whoa," and it was horrible. Like it was super corny. Like maybe I should have kept that slogan. Like instead of saying my own little corner of art, I should have said "I'll make you go, oh whoa." Oh my gosh, I'm cringing now. Like I can't draw because like you see that's why I don't need to be a dad because my dad jokes would be horrible, just freaking horrible. But it was certainly something. It, that's the eraser button. I forgot. It looks like it's gonna rain outside. I don't know why, but I've always liked the rain. There's just something calming about the sound of it, about like the little patter of the droplets as they hit the ground or hit your house or a window. Like it's just I don't know, beautiful. And it's nice to be in and be around. Though as I talk about rain, I do remember my high school teacher. He was pretty wild. Like he was like very energetic, which is kind of strange. And he was genuine. Like he wasn't like one of those teachers that try to be hip with the kids. But like whenever we talked about different books we read school, one of his big things was saying like water equals rebirth or water equals renewal. I forget I forget which. But like that was a big theme he would always push and he would always say it in class to where it just stuck in my mind. Like even when I'm in my college level courses and I'm like analyzing books or what have you, it's like water equals renewal. Water equals rebirth. It's sort of small things like that that just refresh my mind, I guess if that makes sense. Remembering different things from my past and different people who have had an impact on me. And that's the strangest thing is because when I try to call those people to the forefront, you know, it's hard for me. But then when just something passively happens, it's like, oh, I remember this. I remember that person. What's kind of funny is I actually forgot how good I was at graphic design. Like creating logos or creating banners and stuff like that, I'm really good at. And it's like I've been trying to grow my animation skills. That sounds wild. That sounds crazy. Like I say I'm an animator. I say I love animation and character art and stuff like that. But I will say that sort of my natural proclivity or like my natural sort of proficiency is in things like logo design, business cards, and stuff like that, which is kind of wild and kind of crazy. I'm definitely not going to give up on my dreams. I want to be, I am an animator first and foremost. Like, I'll never give that up. But I do think that I should branch out into other fields, other crafts, other things and the like. Just in case, just to have a sort of fallback. And that's why on my Fiverr account, I do have banner design, logo design, and stuff like that as an option, just so I don't put all my eggs in one basket. Because honestly, my end goal is to just do what I love for a living. I don't love retail. I don't want to do retail for the rest of my life. I want to do art. So anything that would allow me to do art for a living, and that can be anything. My big goal, my big want and desire is to make shows and to work on shows. But even then, as long as I'm doing something creative related and art related, I'll love it and I'll enjoy it. Not saying that I'll never become an animator or that I'll never have my own show. I'm making my own show right now. Like, why would I even think that? But, like, I guess what I really want is to just work with a studio, like, work with somebody somewhere doing something until I can work on my own projects. And honestly, I could do anything and everything. I could write a book. I could write like a screenplay. I could do a bunch of stuff. Anything that comes to my mind, I'll take a chance and I'll try to do it. And besides, I have loads of live streams to rewatch, so that's a good thing. You guys can rewatch some of my old streams and look at my writer's notes or look at the different concepts and things that I've jotted down and I want to talk about different world building things for this big project. Because honestly, Witches 13 is just its own standalone story. I have plenty ideas for other stories that can be told in this world, like a story about the military and how they are helping protect the world against like the new hyperflora and hyperfauna that because those animals now have magic, they could potentially become a danger to the world. Or rather, other things like that, like the more socio political sort of maneuvering that goes on. Because now everyone has magic, people have to be careful of like, oh, what if this person is being affected by a spell or different things like that. I have more ideas. I also have ideas for projects that aren't even in this world. different shows and concepts and things like that. Just all running around in my mind, and I really need to like take the time to write and jot everything down so that I can have it all together, put together nicely. What I do like though is the time frame in which I stream, which is midday. Now I'm gonna just be honest, there are a lot of streamers who stream at night. Okay, so and there's a lot of artists that stream at night, so I already know that I'm not gonna be making a dent. I'm gonna be I don't know where I'll be, but most people stream at night. So I'm gonna make a budget market decision and stream during the day. I'm streaming during the day, during like lunchtime or whatever. At least lunchtime where I live. I don't know where it would be for other people, but like I'm focusing on this. I'm focusing on this. This is my time. And I have a set schedule. So, what was my set schedule again? Oh yeah, Tuesdays and Fridays from like 10 to 10 to like 11:15 or something on Tuesdays, but on Fridays I can go as late as I want to. I actually want to take a second to sort of have everything presented and showing so then I can see everything in perspective and hmm. It looks this actually looks pretty good. I'm definitely missing like this building right here. Oh, let me actually zoom in. So I do need to draw this building right here because I just don't want that gap right there. So I'm gonna draw in this building. I need to do this very tall building in the background right here. And there's also another building right here in this area. Then I just need to draw the floating islands in. Honestly, I keep talking about it, but there's just something special and something I like about floating islands. Does that make sense? Uh, I am going to select. I dropped this. And now that I've seen what the buildings look like, I'm going to work on some more clusters of buildings. And let's see. So yeah, I just have like two more layers to do, two more layers to color, I mean, and then after that, I can then go in and work on the different. My back was itchy. I was scratching it. Let me finish these two buildings. Let me finish these two layers, and then I'll draw some new buildings and some new assets. Because one of the things I'm gonna do is, I think I mentioned this in a previous stream, but like most of the buildings are gonna be moving from right to left, but there is gonna be like a slight distortion of you're gonna see some of the buildings subtly move left to right, and it's actually a thing that happens in our real world. Is like as we move, new things come into place, whereas other things sort of shift and we lose our view on them. So it's actually going to be really fun for me to put this through After Effects and sort of play with things and see how they affect and alter each other. Uh, I just got an email and I'm excited. Okay, so I need to respond to this real quick because it's a potential job and they want to call for like a 5 to 10 minute video or whatever. So I'm just gonna like, if you don't hear me talking, if you don't hear me saying anything, I am like super excited. So let me just. So I just sent a reply. Hopefully they'll get back to me in a timely manner. But honestly, I'm excited. I'm very happy. I mean, like because there's been a lot of like scam emails and scam job applications, like people trying to commit fraud and other stuff like that. Because I was applying for jobs and they were saying, like, oh, we'll send you a check or, oh, you'll have to buy your own company phone. Don't trust any job application or any job interviewer where they refuse to do a video call or some sort of audio calling where you hear their voice, because that's just a bot or it's just some scammer trying to get your money. Like they're trying to do a reverse, they're trying to do like a reverse check fraud, where essentially what happens in a reverse check fraud is you submit the check, but then that person that sent you the check will flag it and say, "Oh no, I didn't authorize this transaction, return my funds to me." And so then that bank or whatever entity that is that you're getting money from, they will actually take like 1,000 or $500 out of your account. That's essentially what they're trying to do. So like just never accept any sort of like check in the mail or someone saying that they'll offer you money. Like don't do that. Like any company, and this is something that someone told me, but any company that has you working remote or working from home, they will either they will either provide you with equipment, or there's going to be some like mandated program or app that is made by the company, or some sort of web browser that they'll have you log into, and they'll give you like a company email and a company account so you don't need to make your own. But like there are checks and balances in place that sort of protect people from that. If something feels sketchy or looks sketchy, trust your instincts. Trust them. That's all I'm gonna say. Hmm. Almost done. Well, that's one floating island finished. I was kind of silent during that time. I apologize. I was just sometimes like I just zero in and focus, and I'm like in the zone. So like I just don't talk when I'm drawing or animating. Kind of hard to stream when I just zero in, but whatever, it's all right. So that was the first building cluster. Now I just need to draw these I'm pretty sure I'm missing something. Like there was another building here. Ah, there it is. What was that, Peppo? Um, just a portable charger. Um, as I draw this, I just start thinking, like, what would a floating city actually look like? Like, would people? Okay, so like, if magic existed, and like there were actually floating islands and floating cities, like, would people just have like wards or like protective magic over their children? So like, in case they fall, like they would be fine and like slowly descend? Would there be like a recovery team? Like, what if you're just drunk one day and you stumble over a ledge? Like, honestly, that stuff gets me thinking. I definitely think that the city would have sort of like building regulations where if you are like if you're just a sole building that's on its own private island, then you would need certain wards and protections in place. But like for more public, actual building clusters or cities, mini islands, they'd probably have like either fences or maybe they'd have some type of ward or barrier, or there'd be like this invisible bubble or dome around the different islands to keep people safe. It's really something to think about. Because while living in a floating island would be cool, there are precautions to have. Okay, that's the next cluster of buildings. It is, what time is it? Wow, 12:45. So I've been like streaming for a while now. I'm pretty sure I went quite past my 2 hour 30 minute mark. I don't want to keep you guys hostage, so I guess I better wrap this up, right? Let me just check something real quick. Okay. So, everyone, this is the progress I have done. There's still quite a bit more for me to do, but this has been fun and exciting. And I really enjoyed working on these backgrounds and these assets. I just have this to do, then I have another sort of set of backgrounds to do, more assets to create, and I should be done in, I want to say, if I worked solely on this, it would likely take me either a few more days to maybe a week. But then again, I do sadly have other projects I'm working on. But for the most part, this has been really fun, really exciting for me to just, do work on and have. Like this has been really fun. This is really exciting. And it's nice to see that the project that I've worked on for so long is surely coming to a close. It's almost done, it's almost over, and I can't wait to post it and see what you guys think about it. See if you guys like it or if you have any feedback to give me. This has just been, all in all, a fun project, and I've grown and I've developed so much. And you guys who follow me and like me, you guys have been pushing me forward throughout everything. And I've just loved and really enjoyed doing this. I love the growth that I've made. I love the different projects that I've been working on and am still working on. I love this has just been so exciting and so fun, and I'm so thankful and appreciative. Thank you all so much for just merely giving me the time of day and stuff like this. And I hope in watching my stream, you guys were able to calm down, wind down for a little bit, and just sit and smell the roses or flowers. Anyway, I better call this to a close. I'm not trying to keep you guys hostage. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share if you want to. I stream Tuesdays and Fridays, my bad, at around 10 o'clock. And I also have a Patreon and a Buy Me a Coffee in the description below, as well as on my main channel. And I also have a Fiverr account if you want to enlist my many different services. I do it all. I practically do it all. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. This has been Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. And I'll see you corner creeps in my next video or stream. Bye.